I know, you're probably sick of hearing about these things. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? AJ Good here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review cool stuff almost every single day. And in today's video, I want to shoot a type of video that we really haven't done for quite a while. A full collection video. I used to do these types of videos pretty often back in the day. For instance, if I would knock out a full set of SID masks, let's say the full Iowa SID set, I would do a video on the full Iowa SID set. Or a full Tattoo the Earth set, or a full Sid Wilson gas mask set, or whatever, stuff like that. I would just shoot a video on the entire set, give a little bit of information about that set and each mask in it, and that would be that. But I really don't feel like we've been doing too much of that lately because the style of content on this channel has shifted so drastically within the last few years, this year in particular. But I have a pretty cool set right here, and I just want to go ahead and make a full collection update video on this set. Now, if you don't know, these are my real .5 clowns, two of which are stage used. So I'm just going to run you guys through them, starting with the first one that I got in my collection years and years ago, and ending with the most recent that we just unboxed last week. Sound good? Good. All right, so first up, right here, all the way on my right, your left, we have the first .5 clown that I ever got. I actually got this directly from the artist that made all of Clown's real masks. He would do them up as black or white blanks and send them to Clown exactly like this. So when I was approached about getting one of these as a gift, they asked me how I wanted it finished, and I said, just send it to me the same way that you send it to Clowns. That way it is as authentic as possible. Now, I think I got this all the way back in 2015 or 2016, maybe even earlier than that. I don't really remember. And no matter how silly I thought the mask was at the time, I was pretty stoked to have something out of a real mold that wasn't an old store-bought mask like a Ghost Glow or a West German Clown. This mask was made for Clown by an independent artist, and I had a real one, and I was like the first person to have a real one. And although they've been popping up left and right lately, and quite a few collectors have them in their collection, this was the OG. This was one of my first real bragging rights as a collector, so this one definitely has a special place in my heart and a special place in the collection. Definitely a sentimental piece, and as I grew more fond of the mask and exactly what Clown was doing with these masks during the Gray Chapter cycle.
The fight, the fuck, the hate, the love, it all goes into the making of a mask. As of the last 3 days, I feel like nothing, so nothing is exactly what you get, void of all color. Might as well be fucking space, because that's pretty much where I feel I'm at right now.
And as I learned to love the Gray Chapter cycle, it almost becoming one of like my top 3 records by Slipknot, the mask has only gotten more and more special, and that's another reason I'm so stoked to have all these guys. So it all started with this one. This was the first one, and I feel like it was only right that this was a completely bare bones stock, basically blank copy. The starting grounds, both for this collection and for Clown's mask as a whole for this record cycle. Moving on, here we have my first ever stage used Slipknot mask. So obviously, this one is special for a multitude of reasons. The biggest reason being, this is my first ever stage used Slipknot mask. And not only is it my first ever stage used Slipknot mask, along with being my first ever stage used Slipknot mask, it's also a real .5 clown. This all came full circle pretty quick, huh? So yes, my real .5 stage used Sean Cray and Clown mask. This was used in Colorado in 2016, and it is a pretty cool copy. I like the very messy variants where you can't tell exactly what you're looking at. Like, obviously this doesn't look too much like a clown. I'd say probably the clowniest thing about it is the bright pink hair on the back, but the face paint itself definitely comes across as one of those weird tribal-esque messy Slipknot style paint jobs, and for that I am very, very thankful. So luckily for me, this is a pretty easily traceable copy. You can definitely see a lot of footage of it being used on stage in Colorado. There are plenty of decent shots of it being used out there on the internet, and I am just forever thankful and humbled and happy to have this. Absolutely love this piece. Not only was it my first ever stage used Slipknot piece, but it's a pretty cool stage used Slipknot piece. And it just opened the door for so many other things that happened around that time. So this is a very, very special thing, and I love this for sure forever. I'll probably be buried with it. Now, this one actually came with this one. It was a bundle. It was a group deal. It was a buy one, get one type of situation. I was actually approached about owning this first, and this was at the time only known as a promo used Sean Crayon piece. So this would have been something that he wore in the Slaughterhouse promo for Slipknot's Haunted House attraction.
Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty. Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
But after I acquired it, I decided to do as much research as humanly possible and found out that it is actually a stage-used piece as well, or at least potentially. I can't fully 100% prove that it's stage-used, but I would be willing to bet my collection on it. I ended up matching this up to a photo of another mask, and there's just way too many little teeny tiny details that match up for it not to be the mask that's in that photo. But even if it wasn't, it was used on stage by Sean's son, Simon, who can be seen at the end of a Slipknot show with his dad wearing this mask and throwing drumsticks out to the crowd. So not only do we have a stage-used Slipknot clown mask in the sense that I'm pretty sure it was used by Sean on stage, but we also have a stage-used Slipknot Sean Crayon mask that was used by his son during a Slipknot show, and we have a promo-used mask, meaning Sean wore this in a promotional video for the Slipknot haunted attraction, Slaughterhouse. Now, I think that this one is definitely my favorite aesthetically out of all four that we have here. It just has so much character and it's so much different looking than the rest. There's just a lot of little teeny tiny strange details about it. The fact that it looks like it was painted with a crayon, like a Crayola crayon. No matter how I say that word, the internet always likes to tell me that I'm saying it wrong, so I'm just gonna say it obnoxiously weird from now on. It's got this weird little symbol on the side, and it's a super thick cast. It's the only cast in this collection that is as thick as it is, and it is the only copy that has a slit up the back, and I'm assuming that that is because it is actually so thick that Sean had trouble getting it on and off of his head, so he ended up cutting that slit in the back to relieve some of that pressure and be able to take it on and off way easier, because trust me when I say that even me putting this thing on is hard to do, and I have an infant head. So yeah, definitely a special piece for more than one reason. And we are just cruising right on along. This actually took a lot less time than I thought it was going to, so I'm sorry. Last but not least, we have my most recent acquisition. Is that the right word for this? Acquisition? My most recent acquiry? My most recently acquired? That sounds the best out of all of those. Right here on the end, we have my most recently acquired Real 0.5 clown. This is yet again another blank that was finished up by the original artist in the same fashion that Clown would have received his. So yes, not only did he get them in black variations, which would eventually become a mask like this. As you can see, it is black all the way around. Come on, you bastard. Making me look bad, man. But he would also get them in this white finish with kind of a weird Joker-esque paint job, sort of lipstick and eye makeup there, and those would eventually become ones like these. This one was most certainly a white copy at one time, and obviously it's got some age and some wear and tear on it, but regardless, this mask was done up on a white copy similar to this. So not only do I have two stage/promo used variations, but I also have both versions of the real blank style masks that Clown would have gotten. I think that is pretty cool, and I think that this is one of the most special sets in the House of Masks. Not only do I really love what this mask stands for and how it was approached and what all Sean did with these copies in order to express himself in this sort of artistic experiment, but a lot of these ended up looking really fucking cool. On top of my attachment with that idea and that artistic experiment, these copies that I have here hold a special spot in my heart just for what they are. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this was the first real Slipknot mask that I ever had that wasn't a store-bought piece like a West German clown or a dummy. And this was my first ever stage-used Slipknot mask, so they're just very special. I don't think that I need to keep explaining this, but I'm glad to go ahead and knock this video out and just get everything out on the table and show them all off together. 2022 has been a crazy fucking year, and these two masks in particular are a big reason for that. I was almost starting to think that we would absolutely never bring home a stage-used Slipknot mask, and now not only do we have a stage use Slipknot mask, but we have a second stage use Slipknot mask, and a third stage use Slipknot mask, because as a lot of you guys know, Sid sent me one as well. And who knows, maybe by 2023 we'll have a fourth stage use Slipknot mask sitting here. Fingers fucking crossed, and it might be the coolest out of any of them yet. So, with all of that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video with some nice up-close shots of this full set, and that will be that for today's video. I really hope that you guys have enjoyed it, and thank you very, very much for watching. And until next time, this has been AJ Good here at the House of Masks, telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol, and yes to the real deal, and we'll see you guys in the next one.